Greetings, metalheads, and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George, and today I am back with something I haven't done in a little while, actually. I'm back with an underrated album, an album that I feel just does not get the love and appreciation that it deserves and isn't talked about as widely as what I personally feel that it should be. So today's album comes from a very important band in the evolution of extreme music in metal, not just for the fact they were a pioneer of a certain sound and style, that being black metal or speed metal, thrash. They were instigators, very important catalysts for the evolution of thrash, speed, and black metal, and just metal in general. Being a part of the first wave of black metal, and in fact, basically inventing the name black metal with their second album title. Talking about the mighty Venom, and I'm talking about an album from 2006, and this is entitled Metal Black. Now, Venom, I was recently kind of revisiting a few slightly more grey areas in the discography, in the catalogue of the mighty Venom, and happened to just be paying a little bit more attention to Metal Black. And the more I was listening to it, the more it really does stand out, in my opinion. Of course, Venom have been ploughing that furrow of fast and loud and loose metal since late 70s. So they've been around for a long time. You know, from Newcastle here in the UK, these absolute legends sat just kind of on the periphery of the new wave of British heavy metal, of Nuwobum. I personally don't feel that Venom fit with the Nuwobum tag. They didn't have that sound. They don't have that sound, don't have that style. But it's certainly fast and loose. It was more akin to the kind of speed metal, rock and roll style of the mighty Motorhead and the kind of speed metal attack of a band like Raven. So it's Fast and Furious, but they've been doing this sound, this same style for decades. Of course, we all know the hugely important and influential early albums being the debut Welcome to Hell, of course the legendary second album Black Metal, even At War with Satan, which I personally also consider to be a hugely underrated album, and I've actually talked about that album on the channel quite a lot in the past. But I think they are another one of these bands. Venom are one of these bands that they have undergone a lot of lineup changes. There's been a lot of different people coming and going. The lineup now basically just consists of Kronos, frontman, vocalist, and bassist, as being the only sort of original member. There's been a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of politics. But if we just focus on the music, Venom, alongside bands like Diamond Head or like Saxon, for example, they've been around a long time, and their more recent albums, in my opinion, are just as good, if not better, in some cases, than the early or the classic older stuff. And I think that's definitely true with the mighty Venom. When we look at the fact that the first three albums, Welcome to Hell, Black Metal, War with Satan, they are fantastic albums. They are legendary albums. But then after that, when we get albums like Possessed and Calm Before the Storm, things do decline a little bit in terms of quality and just consistency. Whereas the latter albums, such as Fallen Angels or From the Very Depths up to Storm the Gates, those are top quality heavy metal albums. They are absolutely fantastic, on fine form, and I include Metal Black within that kind of category of being very strong, more recent albums. Although this being 2006, so it's actually 18 years old now, I still would consider it to be one of the more modern albums, one of the newer albums. So Metal Black, first of all, I know this isn't a particularly widely loved album. I know that it doesn't have the same sort of legendary status as black metal, for example. And I think one of the reasons is that the title, Metal Black, that is almost a little bit of a, I know it's a nod to their classic album Black Metal, but it's almost a bit lazy. Like, you could probably, come on, Kronos, you probably could have given it a little bit of a better name than that. Just spinning the words around there. Black metal, metal black. A little bit lazy. That said, not a bad cover. I think it's very much of the time. It's quite dated, and obviously that's, again, it's a nod to black metal with its legendary cover. The logo has been pretty consistent over the years, of course, you know, in and out here and there, but present, front and center, well, front, middle, up, whatever, looking good, looking bold, but it's not necessarily that eye-catching. It's not that necessarily that distinctive from the other album covers, some of the other album covers, namely black metal, of course. But the music is solid as a freaking wrecking ball. It's absolutely fantastic. It's actually quite a long album as well. It's about 57 minutes, I think, if I remember correctly. Lineup, very capable musicians here. Of course, we've got the mighty Kronos, bass and vocals, alongside Anton on drums, backing vocals, and Mikus on guitars. So this was, I believe it was the last album to actually feature this lineup. So it's quite a short-lived lineup at this stage. You know, like I said, there's a lot of lineups changes, a lot of different politics there. But musicianship is good, considering that the whole point of Venom and speed metal, black metal like this, is that it's fast, it's furious, it's loose, it's chaotic, it's noisy. There's got that kind of punk ethic and attitude there, and sound and style at times. Considering that it's meant to be a bit chaotic, it's still very good. I think that the overall kind of sound quality of the album is pretty good. Again, totally fits the music. I think the album was actually produced by Konrad Kronos. I believe so, yeah. So the man's behind the mixing desk as well, or in the producer's seat. And yeah, not a bad job at all. Can't fault the mix and the sound of the album. But of course, it's all about the songs. Quite a long album in terms of tracks. We've got a nice number there. Very solid. There is not a bad track on this album. Some of them, for example, Antichrist, and even the second track, Burn in Hell, a kind of 1-2 of Fast and Loose, classic Venom sounding tracks. It's perfectly fitting. You know, you probably couldn't go as far as to say that those tracks could easily have come off Welcome to Hell, for example, or easily have come off from black metal. Not quite, but it's very much in that rock and roll, punk, black metal style. It's fast, it's furious. Kronos is still sounding good vocally by this point, and of course his bass tone is absolutely at the center here. It's so prominent. It's thunderous. It's got such a thunderous low end to this whole album. But then you get tracks like House of Pain, the third track, and there's another couple as well, such as Hours of Darkness, and I think Blessed Dead as well, Lucifer Rising. They are so monolithically heavy. It's got huge chugging riffs, absolute battery, massive. It's thrashing at times, fast thrash pace at times, but it is formidably heavy. Certainly that track, House of Pain, it's just this sort of breakdown intensity, foundry hammer pounding metal onslaught. It's freaking great. Absolutely barbaric. Really does stand out. Death and Dying is another solid Venom track. Kind of bears all the characteristics of, you know, that kind of aggressive, spite-filled metal that characterized Venom's earlier music. Then we've got Reggae Satanus, another solid track. Darkest Realm, A Good Day to Die is a bit of a rock and roller. Then we've got Assassin, which is a good number. You know, we've got different sort of lyrical themes coming in there. It's not just all about Satan. We've also got a little bit of kind of homicide going on as well, just to give it a bit of diversity. Already mentioned, Blessed Dead, Hours of Darkness, freaking formidable. Sleep When I'm Dead, punky, heavy, freaking good. But then we've got a brilliant closing to the album. We've got Maleficarum, the second to last track there, is absolutely fantastic. A bit of a longer number, actually. Brilliant song, though. Really memorable, sort of a massive chant along chorus. You get quite a lot of sing along choruses and, chant worthy moments throughout this whole album. But Maleficarum in particular, that boasts some seriously catchy stuff. Huge chant worthy choruses, as I say. Fantastic riffing, absolute headbang worthy stuff. Sounds bloody brilliant. And then we've got Metal Black, the closing track there, which is absolutely thrashing. That is a fast and formidable track. Killer riffs, sounds monumental, very memorable, very catchy, fast and furious. It does that in particular, I think, of all the tracks, actually. Metal Black, that really does take you right back to the 80s, early 80s, and reminds me very much of black metal, that kind of sound and style that characterized that album in particular. But honestly, I would say that this is a massively overlooked album. Yes, of course, Welcome to Hell, as I've already said, Welcome to Hell, black metal, those are legendary albums, and they are always going to be the albums that people tend to go for because they are just legendary, highly regarded albums. That said, the more recent material from Venom has been absolutely formidable, and Metal Black is solid as a rock. It is top quality Venom. As I say, great sound, great musicianship, freaking heavy. Tracks to check out if you still need a bit of convincing. I'd say that you've got to check out the Antichrist and Burn in Hell kickoff to the album, just because it really does set the sound, sets the pace, and it's just massive. Certainly, I mean, that drumming is chaotic and mechanical, but then you've got that absolutely fantastic bass thunder and those killer thick riffs as well. Brilliant way to start an album. House of Pain, because it's a personal favourite of mine. Hours of Darkness, Maleficarum, Metal Black. To be honest, you could just pick up this album. Probably have to find it on YouTube. I don't think you can actually get it on Spotify. I think I did have a little look just for reference, and I don't think you can. So get it on YouTube, I'm sure. Hit shuffle if you've got that option, or just scan through, find those tracks in particular. They're absolutely worth it. I'm not sure how easy it is to get hold of this as a physical copy anymore. I've actually had this in the collection for years, and I think I picked it up for about £4 on Amazon many moons ago. But this is a nice little slipcase version, which is very cool, very neat. A little booklet, of course. It's just a good album. It's a solid album. If you've been enjoying the more recent albums, like the Absolutely Astounding, From the Very Depths, or Storm the Gates, Fallen Angels, if you dig in albums like that, if you're big into that, then you're definitely going to enjoy Metal Black. Do the research, check it out. It's a freaking formidable album, fantastic Venom album. If you're not familiar with Venom, if you're new to the band, but maybe you're a fan of bands like Hellripper and Midnight, if you like your classic Motorhead, if you like that kind of Fast and Furious but blackened style, Venom, a band you need to hear. And also Metal Black is an album you absolutely need to hear. It is an underrated gem, in my opinion. So, my friends, what are your thoughts and opinions on the mighty Venom? What are your thoughts and opinions on the superb Metal Black? Any other fans out there? Anyone else trumpeting this fine album? Very interested to hear thoughts and opinions of others as always. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Feel free to share your thoughts and opinions on this one. Please do feel free to like, subscribe, share, whatever. Very grateful for the continued support. Thank you very much, my friends. Keeping metal going. Keeping No Nonsense Metal Reviews going. Much appreciated. So check back soon, my friends, for more reviews of all the good, heavy things. But take care of yourselves, and until next time, stay heavy.